Hey y'all, this is AL Thick Madame, and this is the recap for games people play. So, this episode started off with the detective that is still gathering evidence. At first, it seemed slim to none, but he's been paying really close attention to some things, and he is trying to dig into some history with Officer Sherry. Now, Officer Sherry was first introduced to us in the first episode, and y'all know she's a comedian, or at least I know a long time ago. Like when I was a lot younger, she was a comedian. But anyway, they have her playing a cop, and I told y'all before that I don't understand why they put her in this role. She's just usually better in comedic roles because she is a comedian after all. But anyway, he noticed that she had courtside seats to the games, and he, kind of, was like, hey, what's going on? And, how you doing or whatever. And so she was like, oh, I'm all right. And he was like, oh, well, you seem like you got it made. You got it going on or whatever. And brought up the fact that she goes to games. He was like, well, you're a big basketball fan, huh? And he was like, yeah, I watch all the games. And he was like, how do you afford courtside tickets? And so she gonna lie, talking about she was calling number 9 and won a contest, y'all. I was like, girl. And eventually she realized that that man was not trying to hear nothing she was talking about, and he could see right through her. And so she was like, look, I was given 10, I think he gave her tickets to see 10 games courtside. That's quite a few tickets. That's quite a few games. That's called bribery. Whether she accepted some bribes in order to, hold on to their taped information from her investigation. So it's like, girl, you did the most for some tickets. So she would sit up there, right? And she would just be like, this is my mama. I take care of her. And I think she said something about her mama having a colostomy bag and all this other stuff. And she was just randomly showing him pictures of people in her family and all this other stuff, thinking that she gonna get a sympathy vote. And so he just kept trying to get her back on track. And then it got to the point where she was like, am I gonna lose my job? Because I need this job. And then the next thing we know, we see her with that little crate that everybody have when they actually leave on their own or they get fired. So she got fired from her job. And when she was walking through, she was like, I don't know what y'all think I don't know what they think I'm supposed to do. I came to work in this uniform. She had on the uniform, of course, because she didn't have no, backup clothes, which I think is crazy. Most officers have like a change of clothes in their locker or in their car or something. But she didn't have nothing. It's like, girl, you just. Anyway, MJ and Nia are at work, and Cheryl, Officer Cheryl has, Sherry, she has wasted no time. She called them and was like, I got some information. I got the tape showing that Vanessa was beating up the girl, got into a fight with the girl who got killed. And so, since MJ answered the phone, he got excited about it. He was like, okay, hold on for a minute, please. He went and found Nia and told her what was said. And Nia was looking at him like, and that we not about to take this. Lord, it got to a point where she read him and went off and told him that he better go ahead. If he needs to go ahead and just dismiss this call, or she will personally go on ahead and go and pay for him a ticket to go back home to New York one way, and he could pack his bags to get to going. So he was in his feelings, but he went back to the phone and told her, we'll be passing on the story. So y'all tell me why Eric, her boyfriend, Nia's boyfriend, rolled all the way up on Terrence. And Terrence is a police officer, rolled all the way up on him while he was walking. I think he's a beat cop or whatever, but he was walking. He gonna try to play like, oh, I would like to submit a report. Talking about he wanted to to do a report on somebody stalking his girlfriend and all this other stuff. Then come to find out, he caught on. He was like, "Oh, you're Nia's boyfriend." So they got to talking. Old dude did not mince words. He was like, "I like what I see. It is what it is. And whether she like you or not, if she want me, she gonna choose me. If she wants you, she'll choose you." Like, he just, y'all, he is one of them dudes that don't care. He really is one of those people who, as you will later find out, he don't care if you have a man or not. Y'all, so anyway, later on, Nia apologized to MJ for going off, but she's trying to protect her girl, and she at this moment doesn't feel like she has done anything, and she's hoping that this stuff will prove, eventually something will come out that will prove that fact. Well, at least that's what she's hoping it's gonna be. So anyway, I was like, Lord, this don't make no sense. So she apologized, and she was like, it's not really about that story. It's because of everything that's going on between me and Eric. And he was like, look, girl, you need to go home and get you some, because that will help you and me out. Because, with her being on edge like that, and she normally has sex on the regular, and it is in an amazing mood all the time. When she was with him, he's used to that and not the backed up version of herself. So he was like, yeah, you need to go ahead and get home and tend to that, because he actually is supposed to, catch a red eye and go back home. And yeah, so Layla actually walked into a casting call. Like, I was like, girl, what you got on? I was like, where is she going? Like, she was dressed really nice, considering she's one of those people who, if you have the body type, you can really wear what she had on. But I was just like, girl, where you going? And then a door came up, and it was a casting call, and like the same girl who didn't know her before, she was trying to act like she was all here for her because she knew of who she was, because of all the stuff that she'd been dropping, the little nuggets she'd been dropping here and there, trying to, halfway expose Marcus and all this other stuff. And she was not even here for her. Roxanne was actually there. So she rolled all the way up on Roxanne and was like, yeah, I need to talk to you about Susie. And so she tried to play it off like she didn't know what she was talking about. And so it got to a point where she cut that crap out and was like, okay, and played it off like she needed to go get a little drink of water. You know how people had a little jug of water and people get up and get water. She went over there trying to, get a little bit of privacy away from all the people who were actually there, for casting calls. Because she was over there. You know how Roxanne is. Roxanne was over there trying to scout for new girls, for new talent, if you will. So she was talking to her, and she was like, I think I do know who Susie is, and she stole from me, and I've been calling her and she hasn't called me back. And she was like, well, that's my fault. I told her not to call you back, whatever. And so she was like, well, the people that I work with, they don't play that. And they have specific rules you have to play by. And if you don't, you have consequences. And so it got to a point where at the end of the conversation, she said that she is lucky that they didn't kill her, meaning Layla too. And I'm like, but for you to say that means that that Susie is dead somewhere. So why are you trying to make it seem like, yeah, of course she didn't know about the job, because remember the last episode or the episode before last, they were setting up and Susie got this little offer from somebody and she wanted to do it. And she was like, oh, we gonna get like 1,000 a piece or something like that. And, she had to lie on the phone like, she was gonna have to talk to her later, but she was in the company of those guys who she had stolen all that stuff from, and they didn't, neither one of them gave up the sex that day. So, they've been hunting them down ever since then. But yeah, Roxanne didn't know about the job because it wasn't a job, very loosely will I use the word job. And, so of course she didn't know where she was like that. But in a sense, I kind of feel like she did know, or she has, an intuition about where she probably is and what has happened to her because of the kind of people that they've gotten tangled up in, especially with them, making off with all that stuff, all that champagne, and making it seem like, well, since they didn't pay us, we're going to get ours. You can't just do that, girl. You just got to stop. So anyway, Vanessa is, actually Vanessa and Marcus, they are with their lawyers in separate places. I don't know if they're in different parts of the house or what, but Vanessa was basically going over what she would say when questioned, because the actual episode actually started off with them at, did it start off with dinner? Yeah, I don't know why I skipped over that. But like a little bit after the woman got fired, they were out to dinner. Y'all, I'm so sorry. I was like, wait a minute, what happened to the dinner? They went out and had like a little dinner, and he got a text message first, Marcus. And so she was like, who is it, babe? And I was like, girl. And you could tell she was asking because she instantly thought it was some random heifer, but whatever. And so he was like, oh, nothing, honey, whatever. So then she got a text message after that. And so he was like, well, who was that? So then she looked at it, and I was like, well, is it the guy? But they ended up being the same text message, and they were being called in for questioning 9 o'clock the next morning. So that's what that was about. So I was like, Lord, everybody doing the most. So anyway, like I was saying, Vanessa and Marcus are rehearsing what they want to say. Well, what they plan to say in response to whatever is going to be thrown at them by their, different lawyers, because they both have the lawyer up, but have different lawyers. So yeah. So Nia is at the house, and she has on like this, what they call them things. She had on like this baby doll, like lingerie little thing or whatever. And she was, trying to be a little sexy or whatever for Eric, and was like, what you doing? He come in there, he's packing his bag. And so she was like, you're not leaving until later. You said you were catching the red eye. He was like, well, he basically was in his feelings, was like, well, no, I don't see a reason to be here. And they got into it really bad. And that's when she found out that he rolled up on Terrence. And I'm just like, girl, you're trying to make it right with him. Why would you sit up there and, in a way, try to defend Terrence? Like, oh, why would you do that? What were you doing, stalking him? Why are you concerned about him? You're supposed to be more concerned with your actual man. But anyway, it got to a point where he was tired of the conversation, and she decided to be mad. And was like, I'm over this. I'm just over this. And she went and closed herself into a room, and he just continued to pack his bags. So I was like, girl. So, they ended up having the actual interrogation. They kept going back and forth. Y'all, I don't think they ever said it before, but the girl who got killed was pregnant. More than likely, it was his baby. And during the interrogation, the actual guy who has been trying to get information on them for a while and trailing them and all that stuff, he asked him, Marcus, how many times have they had sex? And he was like, well, I don't know. I don't remember. And then it got to a point where he was like, well, I need you to give me a ballpark estimate. And he was like, 10-ish. But yeah, it got to a point where he found out she was pregnant. But apparently he already knew she was pregnant. So maybe he had given her money and she was supposed to get that abortion. I don't know. But the way they were talking, he knew that she was pregnant. Well, of course, they didn't bring it up to her when they were interrogating her. But the only thing they did bring up was the video. The video recording was presented to her because they asked her, how are you? Were you angry when you found out that your husband was cheating on you? And she was like, no, I'm not that type of person. That's not my personality. I don't get angry. And then they showed the video. She ran after the girl. The girl was butt naked. And she was like, if I ever see you again, I'll kill you. And then she ran away. I was like, oh gosh, girl, no. But what was crazy was when they were leaving out, old girl, Layla, was sitting down in the lobby, and they all locked eyes, and everybody looking like, why everybody there? Like, it was too much. I was like, oh gosh. But she actually was there to talk to the same detective about Susie Q. But yeah. So anyway, Yeah, she was trying to talk to him, and he was thinking that she was going to bring information about Marcus, but nah. She was like, "No, you gave me your information, and I wanted to come to you to see if you could help me figure out what happened to my friend." And so, a lot of stuff is surrounding Roxanne, so we'll get more into that a little bit later on. So anyway, they go home. Marcus and Vanessa go home. Paparazzi swarmed their house. They could barely get in the house. Vanessa is ducking and dodging, trying to get around the door and all the other places in the house that is exposed. And they can easily snap pictures. And I was just like, oh my gosh, it's too much. Even one random dude sat up there and like jumped the wall, and she was in a place where nobody should have been able to see her. He was just right there behind a bush. I was like, sir, that's how you get shot. Like, you better be glad she didn't have a gun on her right then and there, because that's how you get shot. But yeah, it was doing the most. She ended up running outside with her glass of wine or whatever she was drinking, and she was going off and she threw it at him. And I was like, oh my gosh. Y'all, Nia's boss rolled up on her and was like, we missed out on something again. And in a way, she kind of wasn't that mad about it, because it was, of course, Officer Sherry. And she was giving her the story of, I got a family and I lost my job and all this other stuff. And she wanted like way too much money for the story, meaning the tape. And so she declined the offer. So I was like, girl, like, you doing the most. Oh gosh. But yeah, she was like, you're going to have to find something that's big, because it's like she brought her out there and nothing's going on anymore. But the biggest thing that's going on, she won't report on it because it's her line sister / best friend's backyard, all of their business. So it's just like, girl, you might not have a job soon. Y'all, it was so bad with the paparazzi. I think her maid was leaving the house and they kept trying to bombard her with questions, and they were taking pictures like crazy. She was hitting them with her purse. I was like, girl. It was bad, but she looked out of the window, Vanessa. She looked out of the window while she was in her daughter's room, and the paparazzi saw her, and they was like, oh my gosh, Vanessa, we want you to answer some questions. And you know how paparazzi do. So she ended up having a little moment with her daughter. Her daughter had headphones on. Y'all know how these people put headphones on their children. So I'm glad she did do that. She had headphones on her, had a moment with her daughter. So I was like, oh, okay. Y'all, tell me why Vanessa Simmons, that's her real name in real life. Basically the basketball wives on this show, they came out of nowhere and brought pizza and water and all this other stuff to kind of distract and bring more attention to them. And I was just like, oh my gosh, this is too much. They ended up having a moment when they went on the inside and was like, girl, we're here for you. If anything else goes down, you need to let us know, because we stick together. And I'm just like, girl, I'm not finna stick with you if y'all around here killing people. I don't know if it's true or not, but if that's what it is, I'm not finna stick with you. And who are you? And who are you is what I would be like. No, I don't know you. I don't know her. That's exactly what I would be like. I don't know her. Oh gosh. And it's just crazy, because one of the girls was like, the woman who is Vanessa Simmons, they were like, I would not be able to get my hair done. And so, because she was like, girl, when I found out what was going on, I rushed right over here. And somebody tried to call her out and was like, no, you didn't. You went to the salon first and got your hair done. And so she was like, okay. And so, Vanessa, the actual Vanessa on here, Lauren London's character, she was like, what would I look like going somewhere getting my hair and nails done during a time like this? And she would be like, normal. And I mean, that actually would be a little bit along the lines of normal, even though it's crazy. But yeah, you can't just sit up here and just be held hostage in your house, especially if you, in fact, did not do it. But yeah, it's just a lot. You just have to do what you have to do to not look guilty. And lately, both of them have been looking guilty, because he has been missing practice like crazy. A lot of people don't understand that it's mainly because of his injury to his ankle, but he hasn't told anybody about it outside of Kareem. And I think his wife knows a little bit, but I don't think she knows the extent of it. But yeah, his ankle is really messed up. to the point of where they brought in one of those in-home specialists that is getting a check right when he is there and all that good stuff. So he gave him a cortisone shot to his ankle and told him that, he should be okay to do what he needed to do because he was going to play like that night or something. Y'all, Kareem kept doing the most because back in the day he used to be so good, and he actually slipped up and, the dude was like, well, when you going to get back at it? He was like, well, I'm thinking about, doing something soon. And so he was like, what? He was like, yeah, man, I'm thinking of going pro again. And so Marcus looked like he a little threatened in his mind. And I'm like, well, that might be kind of how karma is for you because you've done all this and he had his injury and now he's getting better and better and better. He's recovered and now you are injured. And yeah, it's not looking good for him. So anyway, Nia met up with Terrence so that she can get the rundown on what's been going on, any new information, any new leads. And, basically he let her know about the tape, which she already knew existed. And eventually that did get released. So yeah, like the whole public has seen it. But anyway, gave her the information about that. And then, was letting her know that, it's still not done. That guy is very thorough. So he's not going to let up. And I'm like, ooh, girl. But he made his intentions very plain. Let her know that he was into her. Let her know that he don't care if she has a man. I hate men like him. He literally said to her, what your man got to do with me? I really cannot stand when people do that. It's like, you are so disrespectful. But she is very vulnerable right now. So it is making it look like it's going to be really bad for her because I feel like she's going to give in. I don't know when, but I feel like she's going to give in. So anyway, let me see. Y'all, Marcus actually went into like the weight room and locker room or whatever with his teammates. And he was like doing a little exercise on the side by himself. And a lot of the other people were sitting around and discussing what they were going to do. And everything was like revolving around him. Like, oh, y'all going to pass the ball to him. We going to do this and y'all going to pass the ball to him. And so one of the teammates was like, well, it'd be nice if he was in on the conversation to know that these are the things we're going to do. So they called him over there while he was in the middle of doing what he was doing. He turned and like tore his ankle down, tore his ankle all the way down. And he trying to play it off like ain't nothing wrong. And the dude who was with him while he was doing the little exercise that he was doing, he tried to tell him to put pressure on it and he couldn't even stand up on it like it's bad. He was like, well, I'm going to go get some ice. I'm like, shoot, that ain't going to do nothing. He probably finna be out for the season. Like, he might be over and done for right about now. That's how bad it is, y'all. I was like, Lord, nobody had time. So, yeah. But yeah, he ended up hobbling over to his teammates and sitting down. Somebody was like, you all right? He was like, yeah. Even his coach was like, you all right? He was like, yeah. He was like, did you tweak it just a little bit or something? He was like, yeah, I just tweaked it a little bit. I'm like, nah, you need to just let them know that you tore your ankle down and you need to go on ahead and get somewhere and sit down. Anyway, so Nia and Vanessa are having dinner, and it got to the point where, like she told Terrence, she didn't know if she should tell Vanessa or not about the pregnancy, and she did, in fact, tell her. So she didn't know, and she was in her feelings, but, she was like, I feel like, I think she told her about the connection to Roxanne and the girl and the other girl, Layla. And so she was like, well, you need to find out right now if she has something to do with all of this, because she kind of feels like a conspiracy is going on right about now. And Layla is just behind everything. So then she was like, well, I'm going to go check on Naya or whatever her little daughter's name is. So she was like, right now? She was like, yeah. So she ended up calling the girl, FaceTiming her. Layla already knew what time it was. And so she was like, well, did you, say something or not? Like, why were you at the police station? And so she was like, yeah, I saw them, but I wasn't there for them. I was there because my friend Susie is missing. And then she mentioned Roxanne. And then she was like, oh my gosh, there could be a connection. So She might be able to do a story, but it'll be a different connection where it doesn't involve Vanessa and her actual situation. So she was kind of happy that there might be a silver lining, and I'm just like, girl, no. But y'all, they actually planned to meet the next morning at like 9 in the morning. So the next morning happens, and like a dummy, she left her door unlocked. And so she heard a noise, and so she was like, okay, girl, come on in, make yourself at home. And asked her, what did she want, like to drink or whatever it was. And she came through the little curtain, the little beaded curtain thing, and somebody snatched her up and kidnapped her. Then eventually we see her in a trunk, locked in a trunk, something terrible. And I'm just like, girl, you dumb. Then they need to stop. Don't nobody have no convenient light. They had like this convenient like light thing, and I was just like, y'all trying it. Don't nobody just conveniently had no light for us to be able to see in the trunk. And I know she ain't had it on her body. If anything, it would be more realistic if she had her phone on her and she was somehow able to press a home button or something. But y'all tried it with this other thing. Like, I was just like, y'all really tried it. But anyway, she in there screaming and beat up against us. I was like, somebody help me, somebody let me out. Like, I'm like, girl. But anyway, that was the episode, y'all. I hope y'all enjoyed it, and y'all have a nice night. Bye.